Welcome to Ask a Celebrant, a conversational podcast answering your questions relating to all the commemoration and celebrations of all the chapters of your life. I'm Berni B, full life celebrant.
And I'm Dinah Liversidge.
Hello folks, Dinah and Berni here.
Hello.
And today we are sitting in the very gorgeous town square in Llandovery, which is in Carmarthenshire. We're sitting optimistically under the parasols for the sun, even though there are rain clouds approaching. And we're here because this absolutely amazing woman, well, two amazing women, really,
at least two.
At least, have created something rather special in this town square. Amanda Rose, first and foremost, kind of created it in this space, in that she's got this gorgeous pop-up shop full of local creative artists of all types. And then add into that mix a very good friend of hers and also yours, Berni.
Yeah.
The very, very talented Becca, who herself is not only just an incredible person to be around, she's just as infectious, isn't she? Her energy is lovely.
Unbelievable, yeah.
But she's an incredibly talented guitarist and singer and songwriter.
And pianist and accordion player, and just too talented for
not,
her own good,
not really.
Really.
Fair,
Yeah.
And nice and gorgeous and all those things. And these two remarkable women, Amanda and Becca, know each other and set each other a challenge that they were each going to create something every day in May. Amanda was going to create a new lino print, so she had to come up with a design, create it, cut it out, and then print it. And Becca was going to write a song every day in May.
Yeah.
Which remarkably, and we're at the
20th, 21st today.
21st as we record this, she has stuck to that. They both have. I'm so impressed. And a few times now, and again today, Becca has come to the town square here in Llandovery and made music.
Yeah.
And we, the last time...
The last time I was supposed to pick Dinah up at 12:30 to come down to the square and have music, and I was in the middle of something, so I said, I'll pick you up at 1. You know, Becca never starts on time, and it's all very laid back. I think she's just playing music throughout the afternoon. So we meandered here, got here, went and got a sandwich, strolled into the square to hear the two final notes of the final song and her say, thank you very much, goodbye.
So how early are we today, Beck?
An hour and a half.
Yeah. There's no way that's happening today.
Absolutely
there is
not
absolutely
happening,
no way
no,
that is happening
no.
today. But the gorgeous thing is, each time Becca has come into town, I've asked Amanda, how was it? Did people come up and listen? And she says, oh my goodness, so many people came. Today at lunchtime, the town was literally packed. People had come here specially to be part of it and to listen to the music.
Oh.
And for you and me, it's kind of, this is why you and I live where we live, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the community and the camaraderie,
Yes.
and this kind of like support. And okay, at the moment we're talking about women crafters and artists, and I have to say the majority of us do happen to be women, but there are also arts and crafts people within our group and within the collective that is running this pop-up shop for a month who are not identifying as women and who are, I don't know what they are, it's irrelevant, but they are all people, we are all people who are supportive of each other's talent, and we see ourselves as working together and not in competition.
Yes.
And I think that is the big thing that everyone in the world seems to forget. The world seems to think that everything is a competition and you've got to be more powerful or more own more or earn more or whatever than the next person, and the next person with a similar idea or skill or talent is a threat to
Yes,
you.
almost as if by somebody admiring their work, they now won't admire yours.
Yeah.
As if them getting praise diminishes the praise available for you.
Yeah. The thing is, what you notice within living within a small community, and whether that is unique to Wales, I don't know, but these small communities that we both live in, and we both frequent each other's as well.
Yes.
That the community and the sense of community and this realisation that if you empower and big up and support all the other small people who are doing something amazing in their own unique way, even if it's the same thing, because they have their personality, their thing is different. I mean, Dinah and I, we are both celebrants. We both cover the same area, but we don't feel like we're a threat to one another.
Absolutely not.
And by doing our own thing and supporting each other and shouting out about each other's talents and skills and sharing those, what we are doing is we are building this massive, huge, tasty, gorgeous pie full of the most incredible ingredients, and more people want to come and sample it, don't they? It's
yes,
just like,
absolutely. When you collaborate and you take away that fear that goes with competition, you actually begin to realise, there's more than enough of us for everybody to find what they need.
Yeah.
So somebody who chooses you to be their celebrant would never have chosen me, and someone who chooses me would never have chosen you. The fact we're in the same place doesn't make us competitive. It makes me say, with real confidence, I don't think I'm the right person for you, but I know someone who is.
Yes.
And the same is true of art and of business in general.
It improves quality of service, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean, the fact that we are together, it means that if one of us is ill, we have someone to call upon to cover for us with the same integrity and ethos in delivering the service. But also it means that we have a louder voice in making people aware of this group of services that between us we offer. So yes, okay, we are working with the same pool of people, but it's a bigger pool because people are more aware of us.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
They get a much better service because they get choice.
Yes, and that's exactly what happens in community too.
Yeah.
When a small community like the ones we both live in, when they realise they can work together, their voice becomes way more powerful.
Yeah.
We've all noticed this year there's been a change in the level of, for example, bookings in B&Bs and huts and self-catering. We've all felt it.
Yeah.
But what we have noticed is when, everyone in that town comes together and says, hey, look at our beautiful town, look at what we as a town have to offer, you are far more likely to attract people and therefore benefit from it than if you're constantly saying, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Yeah.
And that is something that's so workable in communities like this, because from the day they're born, they're brought up to see that.
Yeah.
I'm a working mum, I'm not going to be here every day, but the person next door is, and you're going to just go home with their kids. Yeah. And that just happens.
I think this community and choice and flexibility sort of feeds really nicely into an ethos and something I've often said to you and I often say to other people. We are not very good as individuals because of all our imposters and our self-doubt. Excuse me. And all of the things, all our own self-awareness. We are usually our worst advocates and promoters.
Yes.
But we, as friends, are really great at pushing and promoting and advocating for our friends and the people we know. And if you extend that to a community and you say to everybody, this is what, here friends, this is what I do, they will shout from the rooftops about how amazing your service is, and you in turn shout from the rooftops about how amazing their services are, and between you get a much bigger impact and a much, not only just in terms of business, but in terms of friendship and support and networking, than you would have ever had otherwise, while you're kind of trying to keep your little thing hidden and not share it with anyone in case they steal your idea or do this or do that. It's ridiculous. I mean, there's Amanda there with this 1 month with this pop-up shop, and she is a potter and a printmaker. But she is not the only potter that is in there, because she's aware that her style of pottery is unique and it's not a threat to the other potters that are displaying in the shop, because if somebody likes something from the other potter, it's probably her stuff. It's not their scene and they wouldn't have bought it anyway.
And actually one of the things I love that she's always been able to somehow do, and it's why so many people wanted to be part of this, is she sees this incredible array of talent within her community. And she sees that they're not represented where they should be.
No.
That perhaps they don't have the confidence. Just like you said, their imposter is saying you're not ready to show, or you're not a professional artist. And she sees them, and she gives them a safe space in this pop-up that has allowed them to notice how they sit in a space. One of the people selling here, I bumped into his son at our local market.
Oh, is that the guy with the amazing rings?
Yes, incredible.
I bought one of his pendants the other day.
Gorgeous human being. And I bumped into his son, who said, "Oh my goodness, my dad's rings are being sold in Amanda's shop." And I have never seen this young man look so proud before.
It's
and you think there's the ripple that came out of Amanda saying, let's have something in our community that acknowledges these people who perhaps aren't ready to push themselves forward. And maybe I could do that for them in a way that feels okay. And it has been, it's had a massive impact on people.
You had an ant. Sorry, just distracted. You had an ant crawling on you.
Hey, that implies it must be summer.
Yes, it could almost be, or that you've just eaten a really tasty cake and there's a crumb.
And they're looking for the sugar. Yeah, could be that. We just had the best Eccles cakes.
Homemade Eccles cakes from Andrea, is it? Who runs the cafe? Tanya.
I have never had, honestly, such a tasty Eccles cake.
I don't think I've ever had a homemade Eccles cake before. Actually, it's so much different.
Up and fluffy and yummy, wasn't it?
I know. So total distraction.
Good job it was calorie free, eh?
Well, it had those slats and gaps in the top.
Yeah, they all escaped.
So they escaped, yeah. So we're all right.
But again, going back to this whole idea of how within a community people are going to be better at promoting you than you are.
Yeah.
I think we're all taught from a very young age not to show off.
Yeah.
Particularly girls as children are told, be quiet, it's not about you, stop showing off. Almost the, young children should be seen and not heard applied, certainly for our generation.
Yeah.
And then you go out in the world and decide to be a celebrant or whatever else you've decided to be. And everybody says, okay, now go out and show off.
Yeah.
Go out and tell everybody you're
how great
brilliant.
You are.
And we're all going, but I'm not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And we wonder why we struggle with it. People say to me a lot, I struggle to market myself. Well, of course you do. Because you've been told that's showing off and that's a bad thing.
We've always struggled. I really, even now, and I know I am really good at what I know I'm really good at what I do. My reviews tell me I'm really good at what I do. And I still kind of cringe when I say it out. I mean, I do say it now to people.
Yes.
Why are you not using me? I'm really good at what I do.
And
your clients will benefit a lot.
Nervous as you say it, right?
Yeah, and feel a bit funny about it and everything.
I used to be part of a networking group where we had to talk about ourselves. You had to stand up for 60 seconds and tell everybody in the room about your business.
Right.
And somebody, I can't remember who originated this idea, but somebody came up with a very clever idea that you actually meet with somebody else.
Yeah.
And 1 week you had to stand up and deliver their presentation.
Yeah.
You had to tell everybody in the room about them.
That is the best idea.
It was the best version of each of us I had ever heard, because nobody felt embarrassed or, oh my goodness, this isn't really appropriate for me to say.
Yeah.
They wanted to do the best job for you they possibly could.
I think
I would say get your friends to tell you. What would you say about me if you had to write my strapline?
How would you describe me? What are your words? What 3 words?
3 words.
Yeah, to coin it, to steal someone else's business name. But absolutely. I mean, when we try and explain ourselves, we do that with a self-consciousness about us. When we are doing a one-to-one and we're chatting with somebody as a friend, we explain what we do and they inquire and they ask questions and then recount that to someone else.
Totally
none of that consciousness and comes across. And not only that, even better than that is they are massively enthusiastic for you. They're excited that they've discovered you. They're amazed because they've learned about something they didn't even know about. Oh my God, did you meet Amanda? I never knew she did this printing. Have you seen her stuff? It's incredible. And she's got this little workshop tomorrow, and we're going to have a go. You know, and that might be something that she wouldn't think to. You know, she wouldn't say it like that anyway.
Certainly.
Yeah.
And you're right, that whole kind of almost an air of apology when we talk about ourselves has gone now.
Yeah.
And now we get to hear somebody else enthuse. We've also got that element, well, if you thought this much about that person, I want to meet
Well, it's
them.
like a review. It's an
walking review.
An affirmation and a review. It's like having a review, walking review. So we should all be sharing and talking about one another. I mean, yes, sing your own praises, but lots of people find it very hard to make that first leap, especially if they're, they might be, a parent who has changed from being in a career, is now being a creative person and taking something that was a hobby that's now a business, and they think, well, I can't charge for it, I can't ask a gallery, I can't do this because it's a hobby, it's easy, it's only easy.
That thing we tell ourselves.
Oh my God, well, I'm finding it easy, so everyone else is going to find it easy. It's we need to all be advocating for each other, and what I love and I will continue to love and I will never move away from is a community, a small community where you see that happening. And if only we could take that ethos and spread it into the big wide world, wouldn't that be the best
you and I
thing?
both have lived in cities. In fact, we lived in big towns and cities
Yeah,
for
yeah.
longer than we've lived in small communities.
Yeah.
And I often say to people, we lived in our last home for 21 years and I couldn't tell you the names of the people who lived next door. I can tell you the names of everyone in my village.
Yeah.
I've been in their home or they've been in mine.
Yeah.
I've helped them at times of loss. I've got to know people here. It's so, the dynamic of a real community is like nothing else. I remember during COVID, when everybody was locked in and, the people in this community who just went that extra mile to make sure those on their own were actually okay.
We had this wonderful thing during lockdown where the people who could go out and felt they could go out could walk round the village on their daily perambulation.
Yes.
But they could perhaps inform
Yes.
those that were more vulnerable that they would be walking at that time, and if they needed something in our community, they would leave a message or something on their doorstep.
Brilliant.
So a bag or a shopping list or something else, and you would be swapping things like that. And so you would put a message out there and you'd phone someone and say, I'm walking on so-and-so, is there anything you need me to drop off? And there would be they'd leave a bag outside, you'd put it in, you'd take away what they needed taken away. It was just... it just really highlighted sense of community, and what I'm hoping as one of the few good things that came out of COVID is that bigger communities discovered their own community.
Version of that.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
absolutely right, and I think they did, and I think in lots of really big towns and even the cities, a road or a street became that community again.
Yeah.
And you're right, let's hope that stays. I think you and I, working as funeral celebrants or life celebration celebrants, often see the power that community has in a way that other people don't.
Oh, yeah.
And realising that at a time of loss, community is what makes that a bearable experience.
Yeah. I mean loss is traumatic to varying degrees for varying people, and an array, a wealth of emotions are felt at different days, different hours, different minutes, when you're grieving, and they go on far longer than the average community gathering of people remember to check in.
Yes,
but
you're so right.
But that's not so true in a small community, I don't think. I mean, I have noticed in our community that people who feel who are grieving. I have a friend who is grieving, and she probably feels the least like going anywhere, smiling and laughing than ever. But she always turns up because it's a safe space.
Yes.
And sometimes she'll join in and sometimes she won't. And everybody understands if she's being very quiet. Nobody stops inviting her because it's embarrassing or awkward.
No judgment at all.
And we all know that might be the same in 12 months, in 24 months, and even you know,
can be years, can't it?
It's a lifetime. You live with it for a lifetime, a loss, don't
Yes,
you?
you do.
And I think that within small communities, if we can keep, within our massive towns and cities, if we can build small communities within those big cities and get to know our neighbours and our, irrespective of, in fact, better if they are from diverse backgrounds and social statuses and
different
everything.
faiths, faith. Yeah, I totally agree. The more diverse, the better, because
you understanding and tolerance.
Yeah, and also that's where empathy really begins to grow.
I think people realise when you're in a small community, you mix with everybody within that community, and by default, you are not always just with like the same like-minded people, the same class, the same ethnicity, the same social status, the same career type. You mix with a real diverse group of people, individuals, and that takes away any fear that you have of not understanding people. It creates an air of tolerance and acceptance, because you realise that they might look different, they might sound different, they might come from a different place, but at the core they are human beings, and they are, if they're arseholes, it's because they're arseholes, not because of any other reason. Then, for want of like heart, but
totally.
People are nice, because they're nice.
It takes nice people and arseholes to make a community.
It does indeed, and it takes different,
totally different age groups, different
age groups,
focus,
and different ways.
values, everything.
It's really interesting because, nowadays, and I'm very relieved that is happening, is we talk a lot about neurodiversity.
Yes.
And how, all these things we're told, about how we should communicate and not communicate. Some people can't follow those simple rules. I think I saw something the other day, and I know a lot of people who are like it. When you're talking to somebody, etiquette tells you do not reply with a story about yourself. Someone with ADHD, my friend, for example, says, that's how I show my understanding and empathy.
Yes.
I can't do it. I don't know how to do it any other way. I go, yes, I've had a holiday too there, and it was, and this happened, and I understand, so now I understand. I'm not making it about me. I'm creating a connection.
Yes. And you see, I think it's really interesting what you said there, because you instantly said the word that to me shows us where the problem is. You said should.
Yeah. There isn't
and
a
as
should.
Soon as there's a should about how we are in a community or how we communicate, there are people who are going to struggle with that. We're creating some kind of construct that just doesn't apply for them. And then if we're intolerant, as soon as they don't fit in and fit the should, they feel like outsiders from the community. And I think you're right, that we're having way more of these conversations, and as a result, tolerance and understanding. But not so much of the person having to live with, but actually tolerance and understanding of when people get it wrong.
Yes, that's really important.
And that's okay. It's okay as long as you're making the effort.
I think it's so important to be able to include everyone and risk making a mistake and learning. I know that I noticed the other day you did a post, and I know I've been writing about it, about inclusion, diversity, and being an allyship and being a good ally, and how while you're trying to be a good ally, you are going to make mistakes. You'll make mistakes anyway within friendship groups and talking. But we should be allowed to make those mistakes, accept them, learn from them, move on, rather than be berated, embarrassed, and avoid just in case we do.
Yes.
And I think by opening up conversations and mingling with everybody, because they are part of your community, enables you to make those mistakes.
Yes, and to learn to get it right.
Yeah, I mean, I had I'm very much into being very vocal about allyship, and I was talking to somebody the other day, and I forgot the appropriate word for describing a specific ethnicity. And I spent the entire time trying to have my conversation whilst avoiding
Yeah. Oh gosh. Isn't
avoiding
that
it
terrible?
and being mortified with myself that I didn't get the word. And in the end, I sent him a message afterwards and I went, I am so sorry. I just could not think of the right word. And then I started gabbling.
Obsessing that I was going to get it
what,
wrong.
what was the word
Yeah.
I should have used? And it was my menopausal brain that took the word out of my brain.
Ah, menopause fog. Joy. Yes.
But
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Yeah.
But I could have that conversation with him because he's part of my community. He knows what my intention is. And I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
that's the
Massive
word, isn't it? The
intention.
intention is what matters.
And I think within going back to the community intention,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things I love here.
Yeah.
You absolutely have a sense of being parts of this community are very old, very traditional, and their intention is to do better.
Yes.
And I really, really love and respect that.
Yeah. And this whole, and the people who are coming in and being loud about doing something great and moving things forward, their intention is not to step on anyone's
No,
toes.
exactly.
Their intention is to
let
oh my
everyone
God,
know.
look, I've moved
Yeah.
into this amazing space. Isn't it fantastic?
I want
Aren't you lucky? I
everyone.
want everyone to
Yes.
realise how lucky
Yes.
we are. And you should celebrate that. And I know it sometimes puts people's nose out of joint temporarily, but it's all about understanding and conversation.
Yeah, it
isn't
is.
it?
It
And I
is.
think we just need more conversation.
Well, as always, Mrs., conversation with you has been amazing.
Have we been talking too much?
Never.
Is it time for some
that's
live
like saying
music?
too much cake, isn't it?
There's no such thing in this
Exactly.
world.
But it has been a joy.
It's
and
been lovely.
Thanks, Bernie.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining
Music's
us,
about
listeners.
to start. Thank you very much.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Ask a Celebrant is unscripted, and we base it on the questions we receive from our clients and you, our listeners. We'd love to hear from you. Do join the conversation.
See you next month.